Meeting to order.
Jay Sneff, District 1.
Present.
Betty Haney, District 2.
Present.
Barbara Pittman, District 3.
Present.
Mary Benjamin, District 4.
Present.
Shirley Merritt, District 5.
Present.
Madam Chair, all present.
Thank you. Okay. I would like to have y'all rise, and we're going to get the civics class to come and do the Pledge of Allegiance for us. If y'all would come on up. Okay.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Thank you. Ms. Golson, are there any amendments to the agenda? Okay.
Madam Chair, I move that we adopt the agenda as printed.
I second.
Okay, it's been moved and second to adopt the agenda as presented. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we have our agenda. Our first is a recognition for the art winners.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
All right, I have the pleasure to recognize our art winners from the VSBA Regional Art Forum. And like many of you, I participated in last week's, it was virtual this year. Dinwiddie actually hosted the last in-person a few years ago, but the last 2 years have been virtual. And it was an amazing event, and we got to see all the winners. And I am going to recognize 3 of our young people today, and they received a certificate from the VSBA. And it says, congratulations, your artwork has been selected as an outstanding piece of student art from your region. So this one, we have a second place winner. So this was second place in the Southside region, and that is Kendall Gordon. Is Kendall here today? And the work, if you saw the work when you came in,
It's right here.
on the table, is it up here?
Yes.
There it is. And then the artwork is out there on the table. Amazing.
It's
work.
amazing.
This is not your first time entering, is it?
I don't
Had, well, you entered before?
No.
I'm from
Wow.
ninth grader. So
Ninth grader. Very
Oh,
good.
Art 1. Wow. So congratulations.
Oh, my gracious.
And congratulations. So certainly, I'm sure you can enter again.
Yes.
In future. So if you'll stay up here, we're going to get a picture of everybody when we're done. Oh, this is the letter that was sent to Dr. Weston. So you can have a copy of that. Also, so Kendall did get second place, but our others that we wanted to recognize is Solomon Al-Jamal. Solomon here? Okay, he's not here. Okay.
There's this one.
That's
Oh,
his one.
this is Solomon's work. So very, look at the detail in that work. So it's amazing work. And then we have Samantha Martinez Medell. Well, Samantha's here, our elementary winner. So come on up, Samantha. Congratulations. And there's Samantha's work.
And it's the happiest hippo
It
I've
is.
seen.
Congratulations. And we'll get a photo. I have my phone over there. We'll get a picture of you real quick. Of you two. And we will post these along with a picture of your work. There you go. You want to take it without your mask? You can if you want to. It's up to you. Are you good with that? Okay, that's fine. It's totally up to you. I want to give you the option. Okay. Do you want to say anything about your work? Can you tell us so we see your picture? Do you want to tell us why you picked that? Is that your favorite? Is it from a book or? It was just you liked it? Okay. Who brought you today? Your mom and your brother.
Would you like to have them stand up?
Yes. You would stand
Could we have
to
them
be
stand?
recognized. Thank you. Very nice work.
And how about, Christy, how about her art teacher? Which, is she
Yes,
here?
who's your art teacher? Is your art teacher here today?
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
All right, that's okay. But who is your art teacher? Who is her art
Maybe
teacher?
the principal's here.
Yeah, so are you, what school are you from? Southside.
Oh, she's at a tennis match.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry. Well, we are here for you today.
That's right.
And then Kendall. So Kendall, Art 1, ninth grade. And you drew
The
the
fox.
fox. So what inspired that? You just,
It looked cute and it was, you know, I don't know.
It's amazing.
It's beautiful.
have you always liked to draw? Okay, great. And I see your mom and dad are here.
Would you like to
So if you would
stand?
like to stand. Congratulations. And her art teacher is here,
Yes.
Ms. Parks.
Yes.
So very talented.
Yes.
So keep up the great work. We're very proud of you. And people all over the region got to see this.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll post your picture and we'll post a picture of your artwork as well. Okay. Congratulations.
Very
All right.
good. All right. Next is the expenditure report. Do you have another recognition?
No, I'll wait.
Okay. All right, we have the expenditure reports.
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the expenditure reports as presented.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to accept the expenditure reports as presented. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the expenditure reports are accepted. The minutes from February 8th and February 22nd of 2022.
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the minutes from February 8th and February 22nd as presented.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to accept the minutes from February 8th and February 22nd as presented. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Board matters. First one is the DECA field trip.
Field trips.
Oh, did I miss something?
No, we need to do the honor roll. Christie needs to be.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yes, thank you.
All right.
Okay, it's my turn now. All right. So we're just switching a little bit of the order here. So on here we have the VSBA Business Honor Roll. So today I am asking that the board sign a resolution, and I'm going to read this resolution for us to be able to honor, we can honor up to 3 local businesses that support our schools. And this would be the sample, this is the resolution, 2022 Virginia School Boards Association Business Honor Roll. Whereas public schools and local businesses are an integral part of this community, and whereas many local businesses play a crucial role in supporting our schools, and the economic health of our community, state, and nation depends on a strong public school system, and collaboration between local public schools and local businesses strengthens schools and the business community alike by providing a well-trained and highly educated workforce. And whereas an excellent public school system is vital to the quality of life in this community and fundamental to preserving a strong, democratic society now and in the future. Therefore, be it resolved, where I'm asking that the Dinwiddie County School Board names the following businesses to the 2022 Virginia School Boards Association Honor Roll, showing appreciation for their ongoing support of this community's public schools. Their work has aided this community in focusing on the goal of providing the best public schools we can for every child who attends them. And this year, the 3 we would like to recognize are Walmart Distribution Center. They have provided numerous donations to us. They have also provided teacher prizes, incentives, school supplies. They provided bike helmets for the pedaling, for for Performance program that Sutherland does each year. So that's one. Another is Hardee's. Hardee's has provided numerous things to the schools when they've been called upon. They've donated coupons for honor roll students. They have done staff and student prizes and incentives. And they've also helped out with breakfast and lunch for different staff. The third group is Elite. The Elite Contracting Group, they have supported our football program as well as donated over $1,000 to purchase bikes for Sutherland's Pedaling for Performance program. So this resolution, we submit this, once it's signed, we submit to VSBA, and then they will in turn provide us with certificates, and at that point, it would either be the April or the May, depending on when we get it back from VSBA. We would invite these three businesses in to recognize them at that point. Okay, so it is your pleasure, but these are the three recommendations. We solicited input from all the schools as to the reasons of the ones we should do. And we can do up to three, and so we would like to do three.
And you need board approval.
We do need board approval because it's going to require your signatures that
Okay.
Ms. Golson has the resolution.
Do I
Madam
have?
Chair, I move that we accept these, this is as part of the business honor roll resolution as presented.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to accept the business honor roll resolutions for the three businesses as accepted, as presented. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right.
Now, Ms. Brackens.
Now.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
Good.
3 field trips. The first one is DECA field trip. They would like to go to the Wizards game over spring break. It's a career day. It's going to be joined with DECA and JROTC. This would be Friday, April 8th. They would use a charter bus. So.
Where will it be?
Washington Wizards. So Washington, D.C.
Versus who? Nobody knows.
I don't know off the top of my head, no.
And you do have 40 students signed up to go. Is that
Yes.
right? Okay. All right.
You're going up and coming back in one day, I'm assuming.
Yes, we'll
Yes.
come home that night. It'll be a late night trip.
1 a.m. returning the next day. Yeah.
I move that we accept the DECA field trip to Washington, D.C.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to accept the DECA field trip to Washington, D.C. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? All right, thank you.
The next trip is cattle working. Be groups of 3, teams of 3 working on cattle. The first one's at Red Oak, Virginia. It is over the 50 miles in distance. This is a trip that they normally take every year. If they win, then they compete in the second trip that I'm going to bring up next. That's at the state level, and that's at Rockingham. So the first one is March 31st, and it'll be a group of 6 to 9 students. They'll either take the activity bus or a van. They may have to take a school bus depending on what, I think the activity bus is being used that day for a tennis match.
Okay, any questions?
I read the the request, and I said, man, what they gonna be working with the cattle? What they doing? They gonna
I got a description this time, so I'm ready for that.
see. I grew up on a farm,
Yeah.
and I used to have to go get the cow in the afternoon from the hill, and bring the cow down so my daddy could milk the cow or my mom in the evening. So I don't know what we're gonna do with that. Now that's been a long time.
So they work in teams of 3. They'll be given shots, ear tagging, and applying dewormer. So
Okay, very good.
That's interesting.
did my own work.
Any other questions?
I think that's good. We come a long way.
For the second trip,
I think we have to do one at a time.
okay, perfect.
Okay, do I have a motion, Barbara? Mary?
I move that we accept the trip for the area cattle working competition.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to accept the area cattle working competition trip. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Okay, now you can go to the second one.
Okay, for this trip, it says April 14th. It would actually be April 13th and 14th because the tractor operations just got scheduled, and Thomas Davis reached out since it's at the same location. It'd just be adding the 13th to this trip. So tractor operations, students would drive the tractor, given a course to maneuver a 2-wheels and 4-wheel wagon, and then the cattle working will be in a junction to it, and it would be the same as the previous cattle working. It's just at the state level. So the winners from the regional level will go on to the state level.
Okay, I think you made a mistake on the date of the trip,
Did I?
22, not 21.
Okay. This submitted by the ag teacher.
Okay.
I'll fix it. I'll fix
Way
it.
to call me.
I'll call her out in a second.
We're supposed to be protecting each other.
Good job, buddy. She's probably watching.
But we'll change that in there for you. She has, okay. Any questions? All right. Do we have a motion to approve the trip?
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the state cattle working competition.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the state cattle working competition trip and I guess the tractor one. Is
Yes,
it
ma'am.
Kind of two together. Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next, we have the VSBA Policy Services Agreement and Policy Contact Form.
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Haney. So every year, we enter into a contract with VSBA. They provide to the board a manual containing policies for us because every 5 years, all of our policies have to be updated. And so they base them on statutory law, case law, and any changes in rules and regulations, as well as any attorney general opinions. And these all go to Bonnie, which then she distributes them to each one of us to create the ones for Dinwiddie County. We do pay $2,500 for this service each year, and we do have to have board approval to enter into this agreement again this year.
Okay. Any questions from anyone? Okay.
Madam Chair, I move that we move into this agreement and set the policies as presented.
Second.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded to enter into the policy agreement with VSBA for a 5-year term, right?
It's yearly.
Oh, it's
It's yearly, but every 5 years, all of our policies have to be updated, so
Okay.
it's constantly.
So it's a
reviewing the
yearly.
policies. Yes, ma'am.
All right. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So that's been approved. All right. We're down to 406, which is the collective bargaining resolution.
Oh, no, I think we're,
Isn't it?
no, 406 is new business. Oh,
We've
is
got
it
it.
or no? Oh,
We've
I'm
got it
sorry,
on
I
here.
have the old agenda. You're correct, Mrs. Haney, I have the old agenda. Sorry.
Okay.
Ms. Branch? I have yesterday's agenda. I'm sorry.
That's all
I
right.
have both, actually. You were ready. I already have mine. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Today, I am presenting to you 2 items that I would like to have your approval upon concerning collective bargaining. As you may already know, effective May 1st of 2021, the state law enabled counties, towns, and school boards to opt into enabling collective bargaining with their employees in accordance with the provisions set forth in Virginia Code 40.1-57.2. It is now the responsibility of Virginia localities, including the school boards, to determine whether or not they would like to authorize collective bargaining. What collective bargaining is that it would basically authorize a union or an employee association to be the exclusive bargaining agent for a specific bargaining unit of employees. Both of these parties would negotiate together in good terms in hopes of enforcing a contract that had been negotiated together. And this contract would be for a certain period of time. If you reflect back to one of the board meetings we had in December, I stood before you to give a presentation on the path forward together. And in that presentation, we talked about the recent legislation, and we also discussed some of the things that we have done together as a school board and as a school division to ensure that our employees' voices are heard. One of those things in particular includes our collaboration with the local Dinwiddie Education Association as well as the Virginia Education Association. We have done that over time, as well as any other employee advocacy peers who have chosen to come to the table with us as we have made decisions that were reasonable for our staff and the school division. So where this leads us to at this point is that we realize that there are varying opinions on the topic, but each school board does have to decide how they would like to move forward. We do believe, in our opinion, that the established procedures do allow for meaningful communication and allow for all voices to be heard. So my recommendation to the board today is that you pass the proposed resolution that has been updated and provided to you today, which would not authorize collective bargaining at this time. So this would mean, as stated within the resolution, that no appointee, official, employee, or agent of the Dinwiddie County School Board is vested with or possesses any authority to recognize any labor union or other employee association as a bargaining agent of any Dinwiddie County School Board officer or employee, or to collectively bargain or enter into any collective bargaining agreement with any such union or association or its agents with respect to any matter relating to them or their employment or service. We will continue to develop, to promote, and to maintain written policies and procedures consistent with the law to enhance positive employee relations and working conditions, and also allow regular opportunities for the involvement of our staff in the decision-making whenever it is reasonable and feasible, and to provide advanced information and encourage input from our employees regarding the policy and practice changes and developments. In accordance to the aforementioned code, in the event that a majority employee unit chooses to certify to you, the school board, their intention to be represented by a bargaining agent or to collectively bargain, we have proposed the school board procedure certification of support for collective bargaining resolution document. So it is paperclip behind your resolution, and that basically would establish procedures for any bargaining unit to follow in the event that they would like to petition the school board to reconsider collective bargaining. As it is right now, the state law does not provide any procedure or process. It just tells us that we have to respond within 120 days. So these procedures would be able to explain clearly for both the bargaining unit as well as the school board on how we should respond within that timeline. So the acceptance of the proposed resolution and the procedures does require board approval, but perhaps you may have some questions about what has been presented to you today. So I'd like to give you the opportunity to ask those at this time.
I have a question. I realize that we are not asking to approve collective bargaining. However, on the second part where it says if a group petitions us,
Yes.
and so the group would be specific. So for example, if cafeteria workers would petition, for example, they would have to, what is the procedure on the, how many signatures they'd have to have?
So they have to have majority support So that would be based on the running head count of employees we have in that bargaining unit at the time, and the procedures specified a timeline that they would be allowed to collect those names, and then that would also allow us here at the school board an opportunity to review the petition that they've provided to ensure those employees are still working here, actively employed, and do not fall in any of the categories that we have already defined as a managerial status.
So even though we're proposing not to accept collective bargaining, we still have a path for those who wish to seek collective bargaining.
Correct, because the law does allow them to be able to consider it, and we cannot, by law, interfere with their process of considering it. So we have to allow them their due process. But it does also allow us the opportunity, if we have not already been presented a petition, to give our stance on what we would like to do
So then we would just consider what they were bringing to us.
at that
Period.
time.
At
Yes.
I understand.
Any other questions?
No, it seems like it's work, what you are presenting will work for both sides. If we ever got,
Yes,
an
ma'am.
opposition or someone would come to us wanting to do it, it does not opt them out, that they
Correct.
cannot do it. So that's my, and,
Yes, and I know the school board, as well as our employees, managerial supervisors included, have always been willing to listen to our employees' concerns and to work together to provide a reasonable solution. So I just want to be clear that that has not changed. That remains the same. And we would do the same, if an employee group decided to submit a certification of that sort, we would work through the process with these procedures, should you approve.
Madam Chair, if no other discussion, I move that we accept the proposal that we will not enter into collective bargaining.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we accept the proposal to not approve collective bargaining. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, any opposed?
Does that also include the approval of the procedures?
Oh, yes,
Okay,
right?
Yes.
Yes.
thank you.
Okay. Any new business? Ms. Colson? All right, now superintendent matters.
Okay, now I'm on the same page with you. So, we're in for a real treat. I know that you always love having the opportunity to see learning that happens in our schools and bringing it to these meetings. And so we are in for a real treat this evening. I will tell you, this is probably one of the most energetic teachers I've ever had the opportunity to be in this classroom. So, everybody buckle in. Both Mr. Walters is here as well as Ms. Adams is here to lend support. So I don't know who I'm supposed to turn this over to. Mr. Walters? I know the teacher, I know his wife just had their second child. So he's been on, I think,
3 hours of sleep.
3 hours of sleep. So we're in for a real treat
He was a
now.
little toned down today.
Oh.
I just want to introduce these students, Mr. Levin and Miss Adams. Miss Adams is our 7th grade principal, which civics falls in our 7th grade. You might notice that they're wearing hats, and there's a reason for that. But I wanted to just turn it over to Mr. Levin and let you know that he does a really good job of teaching the civic process, and talking about how you do things as a citizen within the rules of the establishment. So I'm going to let him talk about that a little bit, and then I'll have some more information.
Okay.
Hello. So I am Andrew Levin. I'm one of the civics teachers at Dinwiddie Middle School. And as we did last year, we did a project this year for a presentation to the school board. So we started this out as part of the local government unit, where we were learning about things such as school divisions. And the question was, how can we make Dinwiddie Middle School or Dinwiddie County Public Schools a better place? And there were a lot of good suggestions. Students ended up writing a letter to the school board. They all enjoyed that. And a lot of great ideas came up. I mean, I think over 20 different ideas. Many of them were student created. So what we did was the most popular ideas among the classes got debated on within each class among the 4 different classes. And there were 2 winners in each class making 8 different ideas. And there were some strong candidates out there. One of the ideas being, using the lockers in the school. That was a pretty popular one. A lot of different ideas. But the one that ended up winning out in all was, again, as Mr. Walters was alluding to, the hats and hoods. So the winning idea that went through this entire process, they had to debate on it. Miss Adams was a judge as well as our other assistant principals, and the school librarian, Miss Mellick, judged all the students' debates. They got to that point, Mr. Walters chose among them, and it was wearing hats and hoods. That students should be allowed to wear hats and hoods in Dinwiddie Middle School. And so we have some very enthusiastic debaters here who all were in favor of that position, and they wanted to explain exactly why we should be able to wear hats and hoods in Dinwiddie Middle School. So.
My name is Shia Martin, and I think hats and hoods should be allowed at DMS because wearing them can make us more comfortable about how we look. Hats and hoods should also be allowed because for some of us they are sentimental and help us through the day.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Matthew Owner, and I think that hats and hoods should be allowed at DMS because if we allow them, less students will be upset by having to take them off, and so they will be less likely to act up as much. On top of that, wearing hats and hoods really doesn't hurt anybody.
Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
It's morning somewhere.
Yeah.
My name is Diggs Parton, and I think that hats and hoods should be allowed at DMS Middle School just to help students, but to help the teachers and parents too. If hats and hoods are allowed, then teachers will have one less thing to have to worry about in the classroom, and parents will know that there is one less thing that their children will get in trouble for at school.
Yep.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Malachi Cope, and I think that hats and hoods should be allowed at DMS because it is simple. It is a simple way that we can improve the school without costing anybody any money. Plus, we can still make sure students aren't distracted at school by making rules against hats and hoods that have inappropriate messages.
Pretty compelling arguments, right?
Yes. Very good.
Well, I wanted to just tell everybody, thank y'all. Y'all did a great job. When I went in and talked to these students, one of the things that they talked about was, it doesn't hurt anything. And, I thought back to when I was a child. It did hurt to wear a hat in my dad's house because he would slap it off your head. But he was military, and I'm a little older, so I understand that times have changed. I understand that, maybe it's me that's not in touch with the current time. So we are going to consider this, and I was going to talk to Mr. Levin a little bit, but I think one of the things we're thinking about doing is for the last 9 weeks, putting this rule into effect and seeing how it goes, and then maybe we can make it part of our student handbook for the following year. So they were very compelling. It's hard to resist, the argument, although one of them did wish us a good morning. But thank y'all very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I would like to say that, let's give him a hand. I don't know if you all know this or not, but the 2 representatives for the school board have been working for the past several months on the school dress code. And this wearing hats and hoods has been a hot topic of conversation for the new dress code. And they're going to be coming on March 22nd to present the new dress code to the school board for consideration. And they have an option A that means that we still don't wear them, and an option B, which says that students should be allowed to wear them. And that they have their arguments as well. So tune in on that day so that you can hear what the high schoolers say about hats and hoods as well. But I think no matter what the outcome is, I think what you've learned from this is that this is how you go about it, even in the real world. If you don't like the way something is and you want to change it, there's a process for going about that, and your voice matters. And so make sure you use that. Thank you all so much.
Thank
did a
you.
Great
Thank
job. Yeah, the parents here.
Yes, the parents?
And
Are the parents here?
Parents and grandparents. I see grandparents.
Yeah.
and-
Would y'all stand up?
Stand up.
Thank you.
He never was good at telling time.
To the young
That's
lady.
okay.
What's the young lady? To the young lady that was on the debate team. This is national, I think it's International Women's Day. Congratulations.
Good for you.
Thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
That's so awesome.
Yep. We'll wait just a minute.
Okay.
All right, I think we're ready now for the attendance incentive update.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Last fall, we initiated an attendance incentive for the school nutrition and transportation employees. And I just want to provide you with an update of how that has looked after finishing finishing 3 of the 4 segments. So segment 1 was perfect attendance in September. And we had 16 cafeteria employees and 38 transportation employees receive that incentive. In segment 2, we paid that out December the 15th, and that was for the months of October and November. So we had 31 out of 41 school nutrition employees receive it, which is 75%, and 48 out of 60 transportation employees receive it, and that's 80%. And so we're due to pay out the 3rd segment on March the 15th. And again, 31 out of the 41 school nutrition employees at 75%, and 46 out of 59 transportation, which is 77.9%. Still on track for perfect attendance for the year. We still have 7 school nutrition employees and 15 transportation employees that could possibly receive that. So we feel this has definitely made a difference. It's helped both departments during this year, as you know, they both struggled with staff shortages and during the pandemic, and especially school nutrition, they really haven't had a break. They've been working since day one. So we feel that this has been good. So does anybody have any questions?
I'm glad to see it's such a high percentage.
Yeah.
It has really helped. That's wonderful.
Yeah, it was. Well, and also school transportation, if you remember, I will say that at the end of the year, when we recognize those employees who have perfect attendance, many of them have been the school nutrition and transportation employees over the years. So, we hope that this helped get some of those over the hump anyway. So,
Very good.
all right.
All right, now, are you going to be doing the payroll survey?
Yes, ma'am.
update?
Okay,
All
I
right.
promised I would provide an update on implementing the twice a month pay since the last board meeting. So we conducted a survey among staff. We received 429 responses, which I believe was a very good, a nice percentage of employees. The survey was very simple. It had 3 possible responses. Either no, I would prefer to continue to get paid once monthly. Yes, I would prefer to be paid twice monthly. or I do not have a strong opinion either way. So surprisingly, there was only a 5% difference between yes and no, which I really expect there to be an overwhelming response of yes, going to twice a month. But 42% were yes, 37% were no, and 21% said it didn't matter to them. So at this time, I'm recommending that we move towards twice a month pay, but not implement it this July 1st. I would recommend that we aim for the following July of 2023. I do believe that twice a month pay will help with recruitment. Ms. Branch and I have talked about that. And also, our younger generation is probably more in favor of twice a month. And as we, hire more and more employees, that definitely would be popular. But in initial conversations with Ms. Howerton, the county finance director, on how things have gone thus far with their transition, we believe we may need just a little bit more time to work through how this may work. We think there may be some challenges that we, may not have thought about yet. It may mean that we need additional personnel to help out. It could be, another employee or realign duties. So we just need to work through that. Ms. Stanfield, our current payroll specialist, does a wonderful job, but she's a one-man show, a one-woman show, rather. She does it from beginning to end. So we may need more assistance in that area to keep up with 2 payrolls a month. This is also a short summer, so we've got a lot of other priorities taking place as well. As I mentioned, the payroll cycle will change. Our 10-month employees will receive 2 checks for the month of August. This August only. That is not a normal thing going forward. So when we went out last week to the high school where Dr. Weston presented the proposed budget for staff, I went over these changes, that we had discussed. And Ms. Ranson, a science teacher at the high school, proposed receiving one of these checks early in August, which, this was a great idea. And, I'm so glad she thought of it. We have checked with the county treasurer's office, and we can make this happen. So we are going to pay the last check of the existing fiscal year 22 on August the 12th. So that'll be the week teachers return. So there will be something to look forward to on that week. The other change for the upcoming year as it relates to payroll will be that we are proposing not to pay early in December this year. Usually we pay the last working day of the month in December, which, it makes it a very short month for us. But in addition, it makes it quite rough on some of the employees as well, because, you have to go 6 weeks without getting paid. Usually we pay the last working day, which can be anywhere from the 16th to the 21st, and then you don't get paid again until January the 31st. So since everything is electronic these days, we can make this happen. It's, just like all the other months on the last day of Monday through Friday of the month. So we are proposing that we are going to do that also. That will be a permanent change when we go to twice a month pay anyway. We plan to communicate to employees all of these proposed changes in the coming week. And, certainly I'll be glad to answer any questions or take any feedback that you may have at this time.
On the twice a month proposal, what about like substitutes or part-time people?
They will continue to be paid at once a month. But, that we have talked about that. And that I can't say that it won't eventually go to twice a month, but we know when we first transition, we're going to keep those at once a month. Simply because, our schools report the subs once a month, our attendance is done once a month. We'll have to figure out a different way of doing that to pay it more than, to pay those on twice a month as well. But not to say that we won't do it, but at this time, we would propose to stay with once a month for any additional pay and substitute pay, which would still be on the 15th.
Is the county already doing twice a month?
Yes, ma'am. They implemented it in January, and I think it's going fine. I don't want to stand here and say it's not, but I think that, I think that they've encountered some things that, they maybe weren't expected, and it's just been, it's been a lot of work because you're in a constant payroll cycle. It never goes away.
Yeah.
And, they have, 1/3 of the employees we have.
Well, and I know the survey was pretty much 50-50, but that was my next question is the benefits versus the rewards versus the drawbacks. So, and the drawback for us would be additional personnel.
Right. Well, and I don't want to automatically say additional personnel. It may be that we need to look at some things because we're also working to automate some of this, and if we could do that, that would help tremendously. I don't want to automatically say it would take an additional personnel, but we may have to look at realigning some duties on how we do some things.
I think too, if you remember, Ms. Pittman, one of the things that the auditors had suggested is for us to have maybe perhaps add additional personnel so that we could have more checks and balances, because when you have one
Yes.
person who's responsible, so we have one person that does payroll.
Yeah.
And what we learned when she was out recently that, and when it was time to pay people, we were all trying to figure all that out. And then, so having that backup is really important. And so whatever it can look like, I don't know. But
Yeah,
making certain
we've
have a backup.
met and talked. We've actually, we met actually, I believe it was last Friday, and started talking about all of this and how it could work. And and like I said, we definitely are going to move to twice a month. So we definitely are going to do that. It's just we feel like that maybe this July is not the best time, and with the existing system that we have, we're not sure we could jump ship in the middle of a fiscal year because you have to set that all up at the beginning. How many pays do you have? How many? What are your pay dates? This type of thing in the system. And so to change mid-year, we're not sure if we can do that, but we may look at that as well. I don't want to rule that out, but we feel like, moving it out a year, letting people know. I mean,
That's what I was gonna say.
just letting people know that we are going to do it. It's just not going to be this July. Since, it wasn't, I was quite shocked that it wasn't more of a divide.
What's the impetus I'm not against it. What's the impetus to do it if it's not overwhelming people asking to do it?
Well, I do think it does make a difference in the recruiting world and trying to recruit people to come to work for Dinwiddie County Public Schools, and the fact that when you tell them you get paid once a month, people, especially, people entering the workforce, that's a lot to take on. Especially when you have to work for the whole month before you get paid, I do think, however, most of the people that get comfortable with once a month and have gotten comfortable with it, have liked it, they, wanted to stay with it. But I do think moving forward, it's the right thing to do.
And remember when we were at the meeting, somebody did bring that up and said, can you tell who said yes and who said no, by generation, to see if it's people that are more established, they perhaps like it the way that it is, whereas somebody who's
or how much you made, did that make a difference?
Career, right?
Now how much you made to me makes a big difference, because if you have a small check coming and you're splitting that, and you got to pay rent and car payment, and they're on the front end of the month, I don't see this as a good thing to do.
Yeah.
But those who make more, maybe it wouldn't make a difference.
It is going to provide some challenges for our employees, even those that have only been here for a few years, because you are going to have to, if you have things automatically coming out, you're going to have to adjust all of that. And work toward, figuring that out. So that might be fun.
What's it like in surrounding counties, or most of the counties once a month, or is it for the state of Virginia?
There are some that are still once a month. I can't answer that honestly. Do you know off the top of your head?
Well, I do know we're in the minority.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, there are some that still do once a month, but yeah.
When I first entered the work world in the state of Virginia, it was I think it was the last working day before the last day or something like that, and we got paid once a month. And so you can imagine how happy I was when I started getting paid twice a month. I thought it was very exciting. So I can understand the young people.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the way we need to go.
I do think, Christy, some of these are valid questions, and maybe before or as part of bringing back that proposal to the board, we can make sure we have these answers for the board members so they can know that they've heard everybody's voice.
Yeah.
And maybe you could add, what is your age?
Yeah.
21 and...
Well, we didn't...
Where are you at in your career?
The problem with that is we didn't capture all that data with the survey.
Right.
So going back and trying to figure all that out, like I said, it was simple, and I really didn't want to know who answered what. I didn't vote, so I didn't really want to be able to kind of go, oh, well, you voted no.
Right.
You voted yes. I mean, so I think,
I think you could tell a lot by age bracket.
I'm sure we could. And that's why I said that the younger generation.
Are you working or retired? What's your age?
I don't think it's age. I don't know if it's age or the income level, which sometimes relates to age.
A lot when they first signed that first contract. But that was before when they weren't getting paid in August.
Yeah.
So it could change now that they're going to be paid in August. So that
and we had at the high school when we did the presentation, we had one teacher spoke up and that's what she was asking, and then I had 3 come up afterwards and go, we don't want to change. I don't want to change. And one of them was a fairly new teacher, but I think it just depends on your personal situation. I really do.
And your how adaptable you are to change.
Yeah,
sometimes.
True. Yeah. True.
I am so happy that you are working on it because there are some employees in the field who have asked.
Yes.
So you're working on it, so that's good.
Oh, yes,
we have
ma'am.
ample time. 23.
Yes, ma'am. And if we can, we'll do it before. I mean, it just we need to figure out a few things before we move. If this had come back 90%, we would be doing we'd move right forward and figure it out. But we think maybe we better to implement it correctly and work well than to do it quickly. But we can find out what the what the surrounding localities do. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, do we have any citizens' comments?
No, ma'am. We had one of the young ladies to sign the sheet, but she was one of the students.
Oh, okay. All right. Board comments? Guess we'll start here.
Not a whole lot to say. Just thank you, Mr. Walters, for listening to the students' voice. That's a small step, at least. Let's know they're heard. And not that my vote matters, but I agree with the hats and hoods. Make them comfortable. It makes them comfortable. They learn better, I think. So, in reference to collective bargaining, I know some people may be upset that we didn't go with it, but I will let the employees know. You couldn't ask for a bigger advocate. Comes to board to Dr. Weston. She's awesome for the employees. I just commend you on that.
I appreciate that.
I feel like we didn't need collective bargaining because we do have a good system in place where people can come and make their themselves heard, or if they have a problem, and if there's any more things that we could add to that. I know we have committees and we have the DEA and we have superintendent's committee. So I think as long as we keep that in place, I don't feel like we need the collective bargaining. I'm going to be the antithesis of Jay's thing about hats and hoods. Number one, we have to be careful. You can't change middle school's dress code without looking at the high school at the same time. We'll have anarchy on our hands. As soon as you start letting them wear hats the last 9 weeks, well, across the street's going to have a blow up. However, then, just wanted to tell you, but the other thing is, I salute the process, learning how to make a suggestion, coming and asking, nothing wrong with that. I do still hold on to the fact that you need to be able to see who the person is, see their face, see their eyes, for drugs, alcohol, and who is it you're looking at on the camera when you're trying to find somebody. But that's just one opinion, and I salute the process.
Okay, Ms. Benjamin?
Miss Pittman, I like the process with the hats too. But now I want to know how they're gonna wear the hats. Are we going straight, back, side?
Don't even go there.
How we gonna wear it? But the process is what's important.
Yes.
That when you want something, there's a process that you do. You just don't take it. We get the majority or minority and we vote on it, and that's what it is. And then we learn how to accept the process. And that's what's so good about this lesson that that Mr. Levin and others have done today. And for the young lady who is representing the women, I just applaud her. And to all the ladies, happy Women History Month. And that's it, Mrs. Haney.
Ms. Mayor?
They actually all said what I was going to say, but I do want Mr. Walters to know as well. I respect the fact that we are beginning to, that our students understand that their voice is important. We might not agree with what they're saying, but at least they should be afforded the opportunity to express their feelings. And that's it.
Okay. Well, I agree with all of y'all, and there's one thing that hadn't been mentioned that I would like to mention is Miss Benjamin had the Virginia School Board Association Regional Conference meeting this last week, wasn't it? And it was wonderful, and I wanted to congratulate you again on such a good job, and our speaker and everything, and the regional art kids, the ones that won the prizes, they were wonderful. They were very nice, and I really do appreciate all the hard work that the art teachers are doing with these kids. And again, Mr. Walters, you've got your hands full. But I think, they're doing a great job with, at least they know that they have a chance to speak out and talk. So that's very good. Appreciate all of you. Okay,
Ms.
Dr.
Haney,
West?
Ms.
Yes,
Haney,
ma'am.
I thank you for the compliments, but I want everybody to know I cannot be that outstanding person that they told me I'm awesome without the board and the central staff and all of you with the students who work with the students who helped me to be that awesome person that they named me last week. I appreciated the honor, but I said, no, you can't take it because you owe it to all of them. So I thank all of you because I do think Dinwiddie is pretty awesome.
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Haney.
And I had I did as well. I think the collective bargaining, we say this a lot, but we do have a school board also that listens to our employees and, a staff that also has open doors and really means that. And I think that those are the reasons why we already have so many processes in place to listen to our employees, and that's not going to stop. Ms. Benjamin, you did, it was awesome. I wish all of you could. She just did a fabulous job representing us. And Dr. Brown was actually the speaker, and he is going to be our keynote speaker for our school opening on August the 12th. So we're really looking forward to that. Having him in person here is going to be amazing, and we're going to include some of our surrounding partners going to be with us as well. I'd just like to stop for a moment and thank the academic services team and the senior staff and Bonnie, and just thank you all so much for leaning in to these last few months, and to the principals for setting me up for success. I joke when you call me, I say, do you want to speak to the assistant superintendent or the superintendent? And they're all just so gracious and have been so helpful. I promise the end is in sight, and we are going to get back to some normals very, very soon, but they have been wonderful helping me out. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Any other comments from anybody?
Madam Chair, I move that we adjourn to a closed session.
Okay. All right, it's been moved and second to adjourn to closed session. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, we now move to closed session. Thank you.